Now, I understand that things might look pretty dicey right now, but I'm actually going to turn this entire game around and win it from this much of a disadvantage. Hello! I am Aoyalaipe, and I like to hop into top tier matches in War Thunder, and then personally kill the entire enemy team by myself. Welcome to my channel! When my channel became big enough that Gaijin started offering me test drives, the Kurnass 2000 was literally the very first plane I requested. To the untrained eye, this obscure Israeli F4E Phantom variant doesn't look very good. It's an 11.3 F4 with no radar missiles and infrared missiles that are easy to flare. But if that's what you're thinking, then you're missing a piece of the puzzle. In order to survive in the sheer insanity that is top tier air arcade, you not only need to know how the planes work, but you also need to know how to fuck with someone's head. And the Kurnass 2000 is extremely good at fucking with people's heads. And as you can see, people who don't understand this dimension of the game get really upset when you do it to them. That poor guy really needs to go play realistic. Trust me, past rank 6 it is the easier game mode. So anyways, I'm going to show you how to take this plane, the Kurnass 2000, and use it to pull mind games to wipe out the entire enemy team by yourself. Now, some mind games are offensive and help you kill other players, but some are defensive and stop you from getting killed. The big offensive mind game for this plane you want to understand is best demonstrated by this clip. The Python 3 is easily flareable, but I'm still going to quickly kill 6 planes that have flares. The secret is that I'm shooting at all these players from their upper left or upper right. You know, I'm attacking from their 2, 3, 10, or 11 o'clock high position. This is because when players are looking for missiles, they tend to check behind them, then to the side, then below them, then above them. Most players, however, forget to look above and to their side, and if they do, it's usually the last place they check. That makes it very easy for me to take a fast missile like a Python 3 and angle it into their jet from outside of their field of view. That means they don't see the missile. Now, you can flare missiles that you don't see, but most players don't know how to do that. I will, however, show you how to do that later in this video. Another very useful tip for both this and also the Kafir C7 I covered 2 weeks ago is to double tap people, which I do to this Su-25 here. So if you're doing a head-on with someone else who has all-aspect infrared missiles, you can fire your own all-aspect infrared missile when you're still fairly far away. It'll be very easy for your opponent to flare or dodge this, but that's beside the point. If your opponent fires their infrared missile and yours is still in the air, then they will just lock onto each other and destroy each other. But by firing your missile from a bit further away, you have time to follow up with a second close-range sucker punch shot that will almost certainly surprise your opponent. So yes, what I'm saying is that you can fire a missile to shoot down your opponent's missile before your opponent has actually fired the missile you're trying to shoot down. But apparently arcade requires no skill, or so I've been told. Now I think it's time to show a full match rampage with this plane. The central challenge in top tier air arcade is that every match is an extremely high threat environment because there are missiles everywhere. Now, this is true from rank 6 onwards, but it's actually very similar to what air realistic players start to experience themselves in rank 8, when planes start to carry so many missiles that they can fill the sky with them without reloading. The skill you need to deal with that is knowing how to make your plane an inconvenient target. If you at the very least look annoying to kill, then most players won't bother attacking you. And that makes the sheer chaos much easier to manage and understand. You don't really need to worry that much about missiles that someone else is shooting at someone else. The special power of the Kurnass 2000 is that most of the time it is genuinely annoying to kill, but it always looks annoying to kill if you play it right. This winds up essentially giving this plane social stealth. You can sit in a furball or a group of players and dissuade almost anyone from attacking you. This makes it the undisputed king of flat maps in this battle rating, because it can hide in plain sight when most other planes can't. Now, the four most common ways to make yourself inconvenient to kill are speed, countermeasures, terrain, and positioning. I've explored terrain and positioning extensively in many other videos, so today I'll focus on just speed and countermeasures. The Kurnass 2000 is pretty fast. This plane actually has so much engine power that it once scored an air-to-air kill with its afterburner in real life. And it also has 290 countermeasures. Now, if you go fast and outrun people's turns, and you can watch this guide if you don't know what that term means, while blindly dumping countermeasures, lots of people could kill you, but no one can do it conveniently, and this gives you a huge advantage. Now, the problem with this approach is best demonstrated here by this F105 player. He was part of the quadruple kill I just got at the opening, and he clearly wants revenge. Like, he doesn't want to kill, he wants to kill me. Simple dissuasion won't work against people who take this game personally. The F105 doesn't have any flares, but my missiles are also on reload, and since the F105 is one of the few planes that can chase me down, he's too close for a good shot once they reload. I do, however, kill this MiG-21 that also apparently wanted me dead. I think he was one of the quadruple kill people too. In case I haven't made it clear, this plane tends to piss people off. Now, the F-105 turns around to come after me, but it's really bad at turning, which gives me a head start. I could turn fight and kill the F-105 pretty easily, but that takes time, and I'm concerned that some other angry person will third-party me in the meantime. Counterintuitively, the safest move I can make is to take my head start and plow straight through the enemy team and kill as many people as I can while dumping countermeasures while the F-105 is chasing me. Not only do the countermeasures I'm dumping dissuade people from shooting me in the first place, but dumping countermeasures and making turns will defeat any incoming infrared missile at this battle rating, and any incoming radar missile will set off my RWR, and I can just defeat it by hitting the deck and screwing it up with ground clutter. Besides, my high rate of speed and the fact that I'm also outrunning their turns gives them a narrow window to kill me anyways. In other words, I'm really annoying to kill right now. And thanks to that, I wind up getting another quadruple kill while being chased by someone who's angry about my previous quadruple kill. You can see why this plane has the potential to drive people to the brink of madness. I'm basically in the walls on a flat map where there are no walls. Now, to be perfectly honest, I just kind of assumed that someone would have killed that F-105 for me at some point during his vengeful chase. F-105s tend to die quickly and easily in furballs because they don't have any flares and they suck at turning. F-105s are actually better at flipping than turning, and you would know that if you watch my Vitor video of all things. But somehow he survived, so now I do have to turn fight him, but as you might have noticed, by the time he finally managed to chase me down and force a turn fight, I had a huge positioning advantage, so he dies. And with countermeasure pods, this thing can carry a total of 290 countermeasures, which in arcade basically means you have infinity countermeasures because they reload and you have plenty of time to find a safe place to reload them. Now this AV-8 here has a lot of countermeasures and he's using them preemptively. That's the right move. This other AV-8 and the F5C I kill in a few seconds are not. They're also at an angle where they would be unlikely to see the missile in time, so that's the end of them. People say that paying attention in top tier arcade is impossible, but no, it is very much a skill issue. Also, an extremely subtle detail you may miss is that the second AV-8, the one I shot down, he had fired off a bunch of countermeasures and then stopped right before I launched my missile. If you watched my Kafir C7 video, you know what that means. It means that someone saw an incoming missile and flared that specific missile that they were looking at. That means they weren't looking at you, which in turn means they wouldn't see you until they made their checks. And since I was to that AV-8's slight upper left, I could angle my fast missile into them from the last angle people tend to check. I actually specifically look for people who just stopped flaring but are still in a furball, because that telegraphs to anyone who's paying attention that it is extremely easy to ambush them right now. Look, being able to get inside someone's head and mess with them in these sorts of ways is extremely powerful. The better move is to preemptively pump out countermeasures regardless of whether or not someone's actually shooting you, and time it so that you run out of missiles shortly before you run out of countermeasures. Then you use your last countermeasures to cover your escape as you head to a safe part of the map to reload your missiles and countermeasures at the same time. Now, of course, the problem with using all these dissuasion tactics is that they eventually stop working once you've killed an outrageous number of people. One way or another, people will eventually realize that, holy crap, they need to stop you, and you'll be charged by waves of enemy players who are hellbent on killing you personally. That's what happens to be here, but the problem is this enemy team already missed their chance to kill me, because remember, this is arcade. If someone gets shot down, they just hop into a worse plane. This is called snowballing. So, if I've already killed everyone a few times, then my enemies are down to some pretty crappy planes. Crappy planes that the Kurnass 2000 hard counters. If you're slow or don't have flares, or especially both, the Python 3 will kill you, there's nothing you can do to stop it, and the Kurnass 2000 can spit out 6 of them very fast. This gives me the power to simply mow down waves of people who are seeking my demise. And even if they manage to dodge the missile, they're too slow to actually turn around and catch me. Now, while I may have single-handedly trapped the entire enemy team in an endless spiral of death, my own team is actually still losing. This actually isn't all that unusual. You compete with your own team for kills to an extent, so if you want to go on a truly outrageous killing spree, having your own team suck is actually more important than having the enemy team suck. So, as you can see a few moments ago, I went ahead and told my teammates that they should go and cap the objectives, and the coast would be clear because I had just taken out the entire enemy team for them. And to their credit, they did actually go and cap 2 objectives just in the nick of time. This stopped the ticket bleed just at the absolute minimum amount, so as long as I kill every single enemy player who tries to land at an airfield before they land, we'll win the game. You know, it's really nice when people work together like this. Personally, I find it hard to cap all of the players and cap all of the objectives. I can do one or the other, and it's just a bit much to ask me to do both by myself. In my experience, I tend to find that things work out better if I instead just handle the fighter cover for the people who actually try to land and cap the objective. Anyways, this is a good spot to mention a fun historical fact about the Kurnass that I just just cannot end this video without mentioning, which is how it scored an air-to-air kill with an afterburn. So in 1973, on the first day of the Yom Kippur War, there was an incident where Egypt tried to sneak 18 Mi-8 helicopters full of commandos past Israeli air defenses. A flight of Israeli Kurnasses found these unescorted transport helicopters, and one of the Kurnass crews managed to shoot down 4 helicopters with their air-to-air cannon, and then blasted a 5th helicopter into the ground with their afterburner, which counted as a maneuvering kill. And that meant they became flying aces in a single mission. And another 3 Israeli airmen managed to shoot down enough helicopters in this battle that they also got to eventually become aces as well. Anyways, back to this game though. The funniest part of the whole match was probably right here at the very end, when one of my teammates finally checked the scoreboard and realized I had effectively soloed the entire enemy team. Like, I literally have more kills than every single other player on my team put together, and I did it without dying. People's reaction to that sort of thing, it just never gets old. As a reminder, if you subscribe and ring the bell, you won't need to remember how to spell AOLIPay next time you want to watch one of my videos. Anyways, as you can see here, I only have 18 kills, but I probably put 26 kills somewhere in the title or thumbnail. I had a 26 kill streak with this plane back before even the severe damage mechanic was added, which is actually a personal record. However, the audio got messed up, and I felt as though this 18 kill game was actually more interesting than any of the other 20 plus kill streaks I've gone on with this jet. So I'll post a link in the description to a video of that 26 kill game with busted audio, and I'll also post a link to a video of a 21 kill streak with this jet that does not have busted audio.